We changed the will. Carter gets everything, my mom said coldly. Then Carter can handle the bills, I said, and cancelled all the payments. They left me out of their future, so I cut off their power for a week. My name is Melissa, I'm 34 years old, and until recently, I thought my relationship with my parents was strong. I never expected something huge to come up, especially not a shocking truth that would completely change my life. Throughout my life, I was always taught that family was the most important thing. It wasn't just something my parents said sometimes, it was a rule in our home. They repeated it all the time, and I truly believed it. This wasn't just for special occasions like Christmas or birthdays, it meant always being there. If my parents needed anything, I helped. When they struggled with money, I supported them. I did everything I could to be a good daughter who always put family first. Because of all this, I thought that when it came to big decisions, like their will or their future planning, I would be included. But I wasn't. It started one night after work. I'd been feeling really tired, juggling work, friends, and housework, so when I saw an email from my mom asking to talk, I didn't think much of it. The subject said, "Important talk," but the message was different. She asked me to come by the next day to discuss family matters. Of course, I called her right away. "Hey, is everything okay?" I asked, trying to ignore the uneasy feeling in my chest. She paused. "Yeah, all good, just stop by tomorrow." I said okay, but something felt off. The next day, I arrived at my parents' house around noon. My mom met me at the door with her usual friendly face, but she seemed stiff. My dad was sitting on the couch, but he barely said anything, which was strange for him. We sat at the kitchen table, and the room felt tense. After a few moments of silence, my mom finally spoke. "Jess, we need to talk about something serious," she said, sounding too calm, like she was about to deliver bad news. "Okay, what is it?" I asked. She took a deep breath, looked at my dad, then back at me. "We've changed our will, and we've made some decisions." For some reason, my heart started racing. It didn't feel right. I tried to stay calm, but I felt nervous. "What do you mean? Is everything okay?" "We're just doing what we think is best," she said firmly. "We decided to leave everything to your brother, Carter." The air felt like it froze. "Wait, what? You're giving everything to Carter?" She nodded but didn't look at me. "Yes, we talked about it, and we think it's the best choice. He's getting the house, the savings, everything." My mind started racing. I couldn't believe it. I always thought family meant I'd be included, too. My mom shook her head. "We've always tried to do right by you, but lately, Carter's been more reliable, he's around more, and we think it's time to focus on him." My hands started shaking. "More reliable? Are you serious? I've helped with bills, bought groceries, and done so much for years. I've always been there. And Carter, what has he done?" Finally, my dad spoke, his voice softer than usual. "Jess, we're just being realistic. Carter's the one who will take over things. He has the time and resources. It just makes sense." "This doesn't make sense," I said, my voice rising even though I tried to stay calm. "I've always supported you both. You can't just push me away." There was a long silence. My mom looked a little regretful, but not enough to comfort me. I stood up quickly, my chair scraping loudly against the floor, and I felt my breath quicken. "I don't understand what's going on with you two," I said, "but this isn't what family means." As I turned to leave, I heard my dad say, "Jess, please think about this." But I didn't want to think. I was angry, and my mind was spinning with emotions. How could they treat me like this? How could they turn their backs on me after everything I'd done? For the next few weeks, I kept thinking something was wrong. I kept replaying the will in my head, how they gave everything to Carter and acted like it didn't matter. It felt like a betrayal. So I decided to do something. At first, it wasn't about getting back at them. It was about standing up for myself, about showing them I wouldn't just accept being treated this way. I'd been helping cover some of their bills, paying for things like electricity and water, but now, I wasn't going to keep doing that if they didn't want me in their plans. I stopped paying the bills. If they didn't care about me, why should I keep paying for their power? A month passed. I didn't hear from them much, just short texts asking how I was, nothing personal, nothing that showed they were sorry. Then one afternoon, I got a message from my mom. "Why is the power off?" I felt a mix of relief and guilt. My decision had finally hit them, but I also felt a cold knot in my stomach. Was this what I wanted? Did I want them to feel what I felt? Did I want to see them struggle? I didn't respond right away. I stared at the message for a long time, not sure what to do. Finally, I typed, "I thought Carter was taking care of everything, maybe you should talk to him." Then I put my phone down, letting the silence grow. I didn't know what would happen next, but for the first time in a long while, I felt like I had taken back control. The days passed slowly. I kept wondering if I had made the right decision. Part of me wanted to apologize or explain more clearly, but then I remembered what they said, that I wasn't part of their future, and I got angry all over again. The truth was, I was hurt, I was upset. And most of all, I was done being the one who always had to care first. The silence felt loud. A few days later, I was sitting on the sofa, scrolling on my phone when another message from my mom came in. This time, it was longer. Melissa, this has gone too far. We need to talk. That's what my mom said in her message. I don't know why you're doing this, we're your parents, you can't treat us like this. I didn't wait long, I stared at the screen, then started typing. Maybe you should have thought about that before you left me out. I'm not the one who owes anyone an explanation. I put the phone down, my hands were shaking, the message was sent, I couldn't take it back. Days passed, no calls, no messages, no one trying to fix anything. It felt like they had stopped caring. Still, I kept hoping they'd come around and try. Then, one evening, my phone rang. I didn't have to look, I knew it was her. My mom's name lit up on the screen. My heart thudded, but I answered. Hi, Melissa, she said, her voice quiet. I don't know what you want from us, but we're your family. We've always tried to do what we thought was best for you, even if you didn't agree. For a second, I almost felt sorry for her, but I reminded myself. This was the same woman who told me I wasn't important enough to be included. I couldn't forget that. I'm not asking for anything, I told her. You made your choice, and I made mine. Don't expect me to keep fixing things for you. She didn't say anything at first. The silence felt heavy. Then finally, she spoke again. Please come home, we should talk face to face. Her words hit hard. A part of me wanted to go, to try to make things better, but I couldn't, not yet, not when it all still felt like a trap. I'll think about it, I said, then I ended the call. The talk left me shaken, but I knew I had to stay strong. I wasn't going back to being the one who always cared the most. The next day, another message came in. This one felt different. I talked to Carter, he's upset too. He said he never asked for this, he was just following what we told him. I stared at the message. Carter, upset? That didn't sound right. We were never close. He was always the favorite, the one who could do no wrong, and now he was hurt? I didn't know if it was real or just another trick to make me give in. I put my phone down, feeling more confused than ever. Later that day, while walking to clear my head, another message popped up. It wasn't from my mom. It was from Carter. Jess, can we talk? I froze. The phone buzzed in my hand. I wasn't sure what to feel. Part of me wanted to ignore him, but another part wondered if this was the moment I had been waiting for. Maybe he really did care. Maybe he didn't like how our parents treated me. So I answered. What do you want to say? He replied right away. I don't want to fight. Can we meet and talk things through? I hesitated. Could I trust him? I kept walking. The air helped me calm down. Then his next message came in. It's not just about the will, Jess, it's everything. I think they treated you unfairly, and I'm sorry. Those words hit me hard. I had waited so long to hear something like that, but now, I didn't know what to do. Was this real, or just more pain? I stopped walking. I looked at his message again and again. My heart beat fast. Then I replied. Okay, let's meet. But I'm not doing this for them, I'm doing it for me. He sent the name of a coffee shop we used to visit when we were kids. It was close to where I lived. It should have felt like a nice memory, but all I felt was nerves. What if this was just more lies? I pushed that thought away. This wasn't about them anymore. It was about me standing up for myself. I got to the cafe early. It was quiet and warm, sunlight filling the room. I sat in the back and waited. I didn't check my phone. I didn't want to watch the clock. I was in control now. When Carter finally arrived, he looked different, not like the golden boy I remembered. He looked tired, like he'd been carrying something heavy. I could see it in his eyes. He sat down slowly. Jess, he began, I'm sorry, I didn't know how bad things were. I didn't understand, not until now. I gave him a small nod, but I stayed firm. You didn't know? Or you didn't care? I asked. You always had it easy. I was the one left to handle everything, always in the background, always forgotten. His face turned red, he looked down. I didn't see it that way, Jess, but you're right, they didn't treat you fairly, and I never stood up for you. I watched him closely. He seemed honest, but that didn't erase what had happened. You didn't help, Mom didn't, Dad didn't, I said, then I looked straight at him. But now I'm done helping, done fixing everything, I'm taking my life back. He looked confused. What do you mean? I took a deep breath. I stopped the payments, no more bills, no more help. I haven't paid for anything since they cut me out. No lights, no water, no heat. If they want comfort, They can take care of it themselves. His eyes went wide. You're serious? They're going to be mad. They already are, I said, cutting him off. But this time, that's not my problem. If they want help, they need to treat me with respect. If not, they'll learn the hard way. He leaned back in his chair, shocked. You're really doing this? Yes, I said, calm, clear. And if you want to stay close to them, go ahead, but I'm done being the one they use. The room went quiet, my words hung in the air. Finally, Carter spoke again, softly. I don't know if I can do that. I'm still trying to figure out where I stand in all this. I nodded. I get it, but listen, this isn't just about money. It's about being strong, about not letting them run your life. They've been in control for too long. It's time to change that. He looked down at his hands, not sure what to say. But it didn't matter. Because this time, it wasn't about him. It was about me. I stood up. A strong feeling of courage filled me. I've made up my mind, Carter. It's your turn to choose. I'm not going back to clean up their mess. Then I turned around and walked out of the coffee shop. Carter stayed there, thinking. My heart was pounding, but I also felt calm. I had finally stood up for myself. No more guilt, no more control. It felt right. As I walked home, my phone buzzed. A message from my mom. Melissa, why is the power out? What's going on? You need to fix this. We're your family. We can't live like this. I looked at the message and smiled a little. This was the moment I'd been waiting for. I didn't reply. Instead, I turned off my phone and put it in my pocket. I was done, and for the first time in a long time, I could finally breathe. The next few days were full of stress. My parents kept calling, texting, and sending guilt-filled messages, but I didn't give in. I stayed strong. They tried everything, guilt, promises, even talking about old dreams I no longer cared about. One night, a week after I talked to Carter, another message came. It was Mom again. This time, she sounded desperate. Melissa, we need to talk. We're going to lose the house if you don't help, please. I felt anger rising, but I stayed calm. I wasn't going to fall for their tricks again. I opened my phone and typed. I'm sorry you're going through this, but I'm not your solution anymore. You had plenty of chances to do the right thing. I'm done. I paused for a moment, then sent it. After that, the phone was quiet. The next day, I found out they called Carter and begged him to convince me, but he didn't. Instead, he messaged me. Hey, I think you did the right thing, but yeah, it's tough. Feels like everyone's losing something. I didn't reply right away, but deep down, I knew the truth. I wasn't losing anything. What I was letting go of had already been taken from me a long time ago. The only difference now was that I had control. I wasn't the fixer anymore. 7 days later, I got another call from my mom. She sounded panicked. The bills hadn't been paid. The lights had been off for days. Now, finally, they were facing the results of their choices. But even now, they didn't say sorry. They still tried to make it sound like I was the one in the wrong. But I didn't give in. You'll figure it out, just like I had to when no one helped me, I said calmly. There was silence. Then, in a shaky, angry voice, she said, I don't know who you are anymore, Melissa. I took a deep breath and felt peace settle in. That's when I realized, this was never about getting them to see me. It was about me finally seeing myself, and choosing to live my own life. Another week passed. Their power was still off, and I was okay with that. I wasn't angry anymore. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel like I owed them anything. For the first time in years, I felt truly free. I wasn't carrying their problems anymore. I didn't have to give up my happiness just to keep them comfortable. I don't know what happened after that. Maybe they found a way to pay, like they always do when things get bad, but I wasn't part of it, and that was fine with me. So, here I am. I don't regret what I did. Yes, it hurt. Sometimes I wondered if I was being selfish, but I now know it was the best decision I've ever made. This is my life, my choice, my future. And for once, I chose me. So, Reddit, what do you think? Was I too harsh, or was it finally time to stop letting people treat me like I didn't matter? I'd really like to know.